We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He just a dumb fighter.
You trying to kill me or I'm trying to kill you? You know, I think let's go in here and make this money. You know, it's more of a business tactic than anything.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're going to do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're going to spot us some.
At the press conference, Gervonta Davis turned up the tension with a direct threat aimed at Jake Paul. He vowed to end the fight in brutal fashion and leave no questions about who the better man is. Davis confidently promised a knockout and made it clear he's coming to secure the win and the payday with full belief in his power and determination.
He's a fighter that's just started fighting. That's, you know how when somebody first come in the gym and like yeah. When somebody first come in the gym and they've been coming for like a little minute, so they think they nice now. They ain't get all the everything down packed, but that's how he fight. I don't think he's an awkward fighter. Awkward is somebody, I don't want to call no names, but awkward is different from him. He's not awkward. We know awkward fighters. Real fighters know awkward fighters. He's not an awkward fighter. He just a dumb fighter.
Eddie Hearn didn't mince words when reacting to the unusual Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul matchup. He drew a clear line between real boxing and staged entertainment, saying this fight belongs in the latter category. For Hearn, it's less about skill or sporting credibility and more about creating a spectacle to grab attention. He even laughed at the idea, warning fans not to confuse such events with elite-level professional boxing. His comments reflect the growing frustration among traditional promoters who fear that show-style fights are starting to overshadow the true spirit of the sport.
Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis, what can you tell me about that? What can you tell me about why Jake and Anthony has maybe been put to the side for now?
Yeah, they always told us that it was, we were looking at that fight for February of next year, and they always said that there was a chance that Jake would fight in November. I think, wasn't I the one that broke Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis 6 months ago or something? I knew that they'd agree that deal. I didn't know they were about to announce it then. But I did know that they'd agreed that deal previously. So I don't like it, if I'm honest. I mean, I think we need to really differentiate between boxing and an entertainment concept. And that's what that is. It's a freak show. It's entertainment. It's a lightweight fighting a cruiserweight, with, I don't know, is it bigger gloves and certain minutes per round. I don't know what it is, but I understand the market and I understand this freak show shock kind of the world mentality of people potentially tuning in. Is that a step too far? Maybe. I mean, I hated Jake Paul against Mike Tyson, but it did massive numbers. I hate Jake Paul against Gervonta Davis. It'll probably do massive numbers. So that's when you really have to differentiate yourself between. Just because you don't like it doesn't mean it isn't going to do good business. However you want to be involved with it is another kettle of fish. I don't want to be involved with it, but I do respect the fact that it's going to do big numbers.
Ariel Helwani offered a different take, noting that MMA fans often embrace wild, unconventional matchups, but when boxing does the same, the backlash is much louder. He called this a double standard, arguing that while the Davis versus Paul fight isn't traditional boxing, it still delivers entertainment value. Helwani said the matchup shouldn't be judged by the same standards as title fights or official championship bouts, but viewed as a one-off spectacle meant to entertain. In his view, if fans can enjoy spectacle fights in MMA, boxing audiences should be able to have fun with this one without overreacting.
Generally, I'm sure it'll be a little bit closer, maybe 200 to 150. How much bigger can Tank get? Why would that be somewhat celebrated in MMA, but in boxing it isn't? Do you know what I mean, Pizzi? In MMA, we sort of love the freak shows, but in boxing they don't. Why do you think that is? What does that say about us in MMA?
Well, we're a sick bunch of fucks. There's no doubt about that. But I will say,
you agree, right, or no?
Yeah. The idea of the MMA freak show is everybody coming together and saying, "Oh, we're going to watch a freak show. This is what this is." We know what this is. It is absolutely mental what we're going to watch here. I think where people get annoyed with Jake is like, he even got me. You know what I mean? This guy is the greatest outrage farmer of all time. I saw his tweet and I was like, reading it, you know what I mean? And I was like, well, this is exactly what he fucking wants me to do. Like this is every time I'm doing this, he's in the game of getting eyeballs, and this is ridiculous. As long as why do I like an MMA freak show? Why would I watch Eddie Hall in an MMA fight against Dylan Dennis? I'll be like, this is fucking ridiculous, and I have to watch it. That's the way I feel about Jake Paul and Davis. I will watch it. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? It's all of us getting together to go to the circus for the evening. I think the reason why there's pushback against it when Jake does it is because Jake, and obviously tactfully, is going like, what are you talking about? This guy's a world champion. I took out Mike Tyson. He's a world champion. And then I'm going to take out Canelo and stuff like this. Like he's winding us up. He's not agreeing to the stipulation that we're all agreeing on, which is this is a freak show. This is absolutely mental. As long as we can agree with that, we can all enjoy it collectively.
Chael Sonnen took a harder stance, openly dismissing Jake Paul's credibility as a boxer. He argued that the Paul brothers aren't known for true boxing skill, but for using their fame and wealth to land fights with big names. Sonnen pointed out the pattern of Jake selecting opponents who are legends or respected fighters, even when the matchups are technically unbalanced. In his view, these fights aren't about fair competition but about generating attention and headlines through money and influence. His blunt critique echoes the opinion of many who see this matchup as a business move rather than a true boxing test.
Tank is not the guy that knows how to sell a fight. Tank cannot sell a fight in his own division. You have the Paul brothers and they come over to boxing. Their idea from day one is we don't have the skills or the experience. What we're going to do is we'll take on the absolute best guys, but they're going to spot us some pound. Tank has one job to do, that it doesn't make any difference, that boxing is a real sport. My skills versus your skills, of which I am an abundance of and of which you have none of. Tank is telling anybody that will listen that there's a size problem. My skills and my experience in boxing, I do not have to wonder who's in the bar tonight. Any bar I go to, I rule the bar. No, it turns out that you don't. Just need some big guy to corner you, apparently. Boxing has never stood its ground. Boxing has never been able to explain why Floyd needed a half hour to get rid of a guy who's never boxed before. Tank Davis has already began this. When you choose a dum-dum, don't be surprised when he goes out and acts like a dum-dum.
The massive size difference between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul has become one of the most hotly debated aspects of this exhibition. Davis is a natural lightweight, while Paul competes closer to cruiserweight, creating a significant weight gap. This has sparked speculation that the fight's outcome might already favor Paul. Analysts argue that the matchup benefits Jake no matter what happens. A win gives him credibility for beating a star boxer, and a loss can be brushed off because of Davis's size disadvantage. These suspicions have only fueled rumors that the event is designed to boost Paul's career more than anything else.
100%. He should beat Jake Paul, shouldn't he?
No, he shouldn't.
But you don't think? Sorry. So, I thought we were all unanimous here. You think Jake Paul beats Gervonta Davis?
£70 is £70.
Gervonta Davis is very small. 5'5".
He's tiny, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Jake Paul,
he's a little man.
If Jake Paul's tucking up,
move on,
and absorbing punishment for walking forward, then look, there's a way.
Debate over the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight has been heated, with some pointing out just how undersized Davis is at 5 feet 5 inches compared to the much bigger Paul. Critics argue that if Paul can keep pressing forward, take Davis's punches, and use his size advantage, the fight could get tricky for the smaller man. Ryan Garcia weighed in by comparing the event to past controversial boxing matchups, like the exhibition bouts involving Mike Tyson that fans never really asked for. Garcia admitted that most of the public doesn't want to see Davis versus Paul either, but said these kinds of spectacles happen anyway when there's enough hype and money behind them. He emphasized that the fight is unfair from the start because of the huge size gap, but ultimately, fans will accept it because the spectacle is too big to ignore.
Bro, that's a fucking disgrace of a fight.
Yeah.
You know it. Just like the Mike Tyson, low-key was a disgrace, but we accepted it, but
Yeah.
he was 60 years old. I mean, the casuals don't see the weight difference. They see Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis.
Yeah.
And if Gervonta Davis doesn't fuck up Jake Paul, they're going to think Jake Paul is some pound-for-pound champion type of fighter.
Yeah.
Gervonta Davis, he's actually really small. Like, when I fought him, like, he's small.
Yeah.
So I just think it's a very unfair fight.
Jake Paul stirred up more drama by trolling Gervonta Davis with one of his trademark stunts. In a viral video, Paul smashed a cake shaped like Davis, a move meant to mock and provoke his opponent. The stunt quickly went viral, proving once again that Paul knows how to turn trash talk into headlines. By destroying the tank-shaped cake, Paul reminded fans that he thrives on mind games and spectacle just as much as he does on fight night. Seeing Gervonta Davis step into the ring against someone as big as Jake Paul is going to be a surreal sight. The size gap is almost comical, but Davis enters with clear advantages in speed, skill, and defense. His slick footwork should allow him to move around the ring, avoid heavy shots, and set up counters. Paul will try to use his reach and strength to pressure Davis, but landing clean punches on a smaller, faster, and more elusive opponent won't be easy. That clash, Davis's precision and defense versus Paul's size and power, is exactly what makes this matchup so intriguing.
So crazy. Why is Gervonta Davis fighting a guy that big? There is some interest to that because you're not going to see Gervonta Davis. You're going to be able to see Gervonta Davis's feet. That's what I'm going to be interested to see because I don't think Gervonta is going to jump out there and try to run up into Jake Paul and try to knock Jake Paul out. What I think Gervonta is going to do is Gervonta is going to move his feet, just going to move, make Jake Paul miss a lot, make Jake Paul look really dumb just by using defense on him and making him swing at the wind because that is going to be very tough for him to hit a guy that is that little. If you play basketball, for example, and you are a tall 6'1" guy and you try to stand in front of some 5'8", real quick 5'8" guy, trust me, their first steps are going up out of there, those little teeny weeny dudes. So that's going to be very fun and interesting to watch how that goes down. Now, on the other side, what Jake Paul is going to do. He don't have no consciousness. He doesn't have a conscience about what he's trying to do. He's going to go in there, try to hurt a 60-year-old Mike Tyson. He don't care. He wanted to Nate. He's way bigger than Nate Jones when he fought Nate Jones. You think he didn't care about hitting Nate Jones upside the head. He's definitely going to be looking to try to get as much as he can get off on Gervonta Davis and I see him trying to run up on him, trying to maul him, trying to grab him, trying to club him, trying to do all kind of craziness, man. And it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting thing to watch. Now, let me tell you what I really hope, and I haven't seen for this particular card, but I know that I know it's going to be good, which is the undercard. The undercard for the Canelo Alvarez fight and Terrence Crawford fight is absolutely horrendous. There's nothing on the thing that would make you want to watch to tune into that.
Even Terrence Crawford, one of boxing's top pound-for-pound fighters, dismissed the Davis versus Paul matchup as something that shouldn't be taken seriously. He openly questioned how promoters could justify putting a 195-pound fighter in the ring with someone from 135 pounds. To Crawford, this isn't a real contest but more of a business move designed to draw attention. His reaction reflects the skepticism shared by many in the boxing world, who see this as pure spectacle rather than true competition, a sign of how far entertainment-driven fights have blurred the line with the sport itself.